Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are continuing our never-ending Pioneer Sleeper series with Eldritch Moon. Jake, are you ready to get spooky?
I'm ready to get spooky. It is actually Halloween, but you are probably watching this in November.
Yep, that's right. We are filming this on Halloween, so it's extra spooky. Before we jump into the cards, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, hitting subscribe, it really helps us out.
It's the best way to support the channel, but if you are not logged in, we don't want you to have to do work. You are probably on your lunch break, so enjoy your time.
That's right, but if you are logged in, just click a button. Just one button.
Any kind of button.
Let's jump into the cards. We have got a tribal-heavy discussion to have today. If you've seen any of the previous videos in this series, you know that we pick these to be between $1 and $5, and these are our sleeper picks. We are not picking the top cards that everybody is already building around. And one of the things that we've also covered is a lot of our picks are based on tribes that the decks haven't worked themselves out yet.
Yeah, that's true, and a lot of the cards right now in Pioneer are spiking, and so it's really hard to keep up with these spikes, so we may be talking about these cards, and then in a few days, like, one of them could spike or something like that, and so the price may be different from what we are saying it is, but...
Which has already happened with some of our earlier picks.
Yeah, we've had to cut some cards just because, you know, they were obvious and they were low for just such a short period of time, so...
Yep. We're going to start off this discussion of Eldritch Moon with Stromkirk Condemned. This is a 2/2 vampire 2-drop that is going to get all of your vampires mini anthems as you discard lands that you draw later on in the game that you don't need.
Or you could potentially build it alongside Madness, and then you're discarding a card and you're casting something for its Madness cost.
Exactly.
There's a lot of really good enablers with this Stromkirk Condemned. I'm sure it was a card that had some hype when it came out, but it just didn't really have, you know, the tribal support. Pioneer is a lot bigger, a lot wider, so maybe it can get there.
We have definitely got vampire support in this format, and I think that, you know, this would be an excellent 2-drop to explore building into that vampire deck. Bedlam Reveler is up next, and I'm assuming that this is a card that you want to try and cast for 2.
Oh yeah, that's the goal, and that's how they do it in Modern. You know, in Modern you're playing Burning Inquiry and Goblin Lore, and you're filling up your graveyard super quick, and then you're casting Bedlam Reveler, and then you're drawing 3 cards, and the card is super powerful. It has prowess. It's a really good closer. It's a really great finisher. I think the card is excellent. Right now it holds a price point of like $2, and if there's anything we know about these Eternal formats is that the graveyard is one of the biggest resources. So if Bedlam Reveler is going to find a home, it's going to find a home in Pioneer, and I think it's an excellent card. I really do.
You've
there's
already
a
got
lot going
decks,
on here.
You've already got decks like Arclight Phoenix that this just slots perfectly into as like a 2 of.
Exactly, dude, and that's why it's on the list.
Next up, we got some versatility in Collective Defiance. 3 cost, 3 modes, choose one, pay 1 extra for each other mode you want to choose.
So there's a couple things about this card that, you know, you said versatility. That's the main reason it's here.
Right.
Because if you think, okay, I'm paying 3 to deal 3 damage to target opponent, that's way too expensive. I'm paying 3 to deal 4 damage to target creature, that's way too expensive. There's a lot of better other ways to do that. But the reason that this card is on the list is because it is versatile. It's a modular card,
right.
And those are the kind of cards that are attractive in Eternal formats.
Downside of this card, I think, is that you do have to pay 4 mana for 2 modes. You'll have to pay 5 mana for 3 modes. So very rarely, I think, are you going to be casting it multiple modes way. And also at sorcery speed, that's kind of a bummer as well. But the versatility speaks for itself.
I think, you know, it's a card that gets better the longer the game goes.
Sure.
So as like a top deck, this is the kind of thing, like if you know that you have Collective Defiance in your hand, you already have 5 lands on the battlefield, you might just be sitting there, you know, stockpiling lands because you know that Collective is going to come up and you're going to get to deal 3 damage to a player, 4 damage to one of their creatures, and then discard all those lands and hopefully convert into something better.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Moving on from that, we've got, I think, the favorite card that's ever been printed in Magic the Gathering for Jake Martitius, Lupine Prototype. Dude,
it's it doesn't do anything until a player has no cards in hand, but I'm so happy that we finally get to talk about this interaction because I really love this alongside Rotting Regisaur, which is going to help you empty your hand,
Right.
and then also the Great Henge, which is going to let you continue to fill up your hand, but only when you play creatures. And so you'll draw cards, and then the whole idea around this deck is to just get a turn 3 Great Henge online and then profit. I think Lupine Prototype is also notable because it crews pretty much every single vehicle in the format.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some fun interactions there, and I'm looking forward to your first Lupine Prototype build.
Dude, I've tried to make Lupine Prototype work in Standard. It doesn't get there. It sometimes does. I think the card is just, it's too slow, too weird for Modern. I think a lot of people are turned off by the drawback of this card.
Sure.
But there's a lot of things that it enables, and at 2 mana, the 5/5, once people see, oh, this is my enabler, they're gonna try to remove it, and most likely if they don't have a hard removal, it's gonna take 2 burn spells. So
yeah, it does carry the artifact creature type with it, so it does open itself up to another kind of realm of removal options, I guess you could say. But at the very least, it's a fun combo deck enabler for sure. Selfless Spirit comes up after that, and I mean, this is a Modern played card. It's a Spirits card. It even kind of finds its way into human decks quite often. But it's what I've talked about with all go wide strategies. The ability to give your stuff indestructible and get around board wipes is what's going to win you the game.
Yeah, for sure. You couldn't have said it better. And this list, we don't have Spell Queller on it because Spell Queller is already spiking. It's like $12 to $15. So Selfless Spirit is seriously like $2 or $3. It might even be less, and it is like a must include in the Spirits deck. And I mean, having a 2/1 flyer for 2, I mean, the evasion, like just that by itself is good, and then the ability on it is just icing on the cake. It's just excellent.
You're exactly right. Thalia, Heretic Cathar comes up after that. Humans, I've talked about. Tribes, I've talked about. I mean, this card at 3 mana, it curves out beautifully. It makes everything else on the opponent's battlefield come in slower, and it carries first strike with it.
Yep. It's very, very, very good. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's legendary, but it is good. And it is played.
It's a 3 of. It dies to shock. But it's a great card that's still very cheap. Talking about a great card that's still pretty cheap is Mausoleum Wanderer. I mean, this is a 1-drop in every Spirit deck it needs to be the 1-drop in every Spirit deck that's built.
So now we know Spell Queller exists. We've seen Mausoleum Wanderer. We've seen Selfless Spirit.
Right.
We just talked about Rattle Chains. It sounds like there is a Pioneer Spirit deck that is just hanging out, and it just needs like maybe a few more cards and some tinkering.
That's exactly right. Crypt Baker after that. I talked to you about, we're going to be talking about tribes. Here's the 1-drop for the zombie deck.
Dude, this card is good, man.
Yeah, this card was played in Standard. This card was played in the Pro Tour Amonkhet zombie deck. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember if this had rotated by then, but I'm pretty sure this was played in that zombie deck around that time.
Yeah, just having the ability to tap the zombies you control to draw a card and you lose the life, and you could do that whether or not they have summoning sickness, because this is an ability on the card. So
in response to removals at the EOT, I mean, you're tapping through, you're drawing a card, Yep.
You could be like, all right, we're gonna chump block a big threat, and then we're gonna tap these in response, and order damage how you want. I'm gonna draw a card.
Right. That brings us to the end of our Eldritch Moon tribal themed video, I guess, for Pioneer Sleepers. We appreciate it so much. Like we said, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, hitting subscribe on the video if you liked it, you can support us further on Patreon. We've got a link down in the description below, and we stream most weeks Tuesday and Thursday nights over on Twitch. Jake, I am tapped out.
And I have, seriously, come hang out on Twitch because I have these codes to give away from the pre-release. And, like, seriously, it's thank you for coming to the pre-release. Use this code to unlock 6 Core Set 2020 booster packs. So come hang out on Twitch.
He'll give it away to you. Twitch.tv/Jake and Joel are magic. Goodbye.